Recording has been started.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, for our viewers in United States, and good evening to our esteemed speaker and other people who have joined from India. My name is Dr. Adityanji, and I'm the President of the Council for Strategic Affairs. We are joining once again for another session of Distinguished Lecture Series as part of the Council for Strategic Affairs monthly meetings. So the topic for today's distinguished lecture series is drone swarms and security implications. And when you registered, you probably saw this flyer showing picture of General Saxena, who is our distinguished speaker today. I don't need to tell you what this slide is. A little bit about Council for Strategic Affairs. Council for Strategic Affairs imparts education in the field of international relations. CSA fosters discussion, dialogue, and debate on geopolitical issues. CSA encourages strategic studies in general to raise the level of awareness. CSA in general condemns terrorism worldwide, terrorism of any kind of form. And CSA aims to contribute towards world peace and prosperity. We have a couple of activities every month. We have a monthly roundtable discussion that happens on second Saturday of each month at 10 a.m. Eastern Daytime. On fourth Saturday of each month, we have a guest lecture by a domain expert, and that is what we are going to have today. CSA also organizes symposia, meetings, and conferences. CSA promotes publication of articles on geopolitics and related subjects. And recently, CSA has started a summer internship program for college students, and we are seeking invitations and applications from college students to become interns at CSA. So today's program is a distinguished lecture series, and our distinguished speaker is Lieutenant General retired Dr. Vijay K. Saxena, PVSM, AVSM, VSM. A little bit about General Saxena. He is the former Director General of the Corps of Army Air Defense. He has been decorated 3 times by the President of India for his distinguished and selfless service to the nation. The General is a distinguished fellow at the Vivekananda International Foundation and has held a chair of excellence at the United Service Institution of India, which is our armed forces think tank. He is also a United Nations scholar with an MPhil and PhD and a law scholar at the National Law School of India University. He is recipient of numerous prestigious awards in the service. He has been awarded Institution of Electrical and Telecommunication Engineers for the seminal contribution in the development of low-level lightweight radar. He is a prolific writer. He has authored 5 books to his credit, hundreds of articles in various defense magazines, covering the subjects like air defense, aerospace, military communication, cyber security, nuclear security, and defense procurement. He gets published at a rate of 2 to 3 articles every month across defense media of the nation. He is a frequent face on the TV channel speaking on diverse issues in his core competency domain. General Saxena has also spearheaded a project for the welfare of the families of martyrs and disabled veterans. So he will be speaking today on drone swarms and security implications. This is actually what a swarm of locusts looks like. And that is what I understood by swarm. When I was a medical student, I saw a movie, The Swarm, and it was based on a 1974 novel. It featured Michael Caine as a scientist, how to deal with the swarm of African bees. And more lately, in 2020, there was another movie called The Swarm. It was a French horror movie called La Nuit, directed by Just Philippot. So it shows you the swarm again, this time of locusts. Actually, SWARM, I realize, is also an acronym which stands for Smart Warfighting Array of Reconfigurable Modules in the military lingo. And I'm very proud to say that our distinguished speaker, General Vijay Saxena, is India's foremost expert on drone swarms. He is heavily published. I just put two of his publications here, but he has numerous publications on this particular topic. Why this issue has become very important? Because since 2019, there were Pakistan-based terrorists using drones to drop arms, ammunition, and also contraband like heroin into India. On June 27, 2021, this threat was made the next logical step up when two drones attacked the Jammu Air Base, dropping shaped charges which punched through roof of a building without any casualties. So clearly it is a danger signal because both state and non-state actors can use these small drones to carry out attacks on sensitive installations and in public gatherings. More recently, when the Prime Minister of India was held up on a flyover near Pakistan border 10 kilometers away, he was at risk of a drone attack. Just to bring you to light, very recently India called off a $3 billion deal to purchase 30 Predator drones from United States, American aerospace firm General Atomics. So the focus is to develop domestic capability. A little bit about housekeeping rules. Please mute yourself to avoid noise interference. Please change your cell phone setting to vibration mode. Please do not try to interrupt our distinguished speaker. Only those members of the audience who identify themselves openly will be allowed to ask questions. No anonymous questions, please. Please send all your questions by the chat function. Please be very specific and precise in asking questions. Don't send long comments or a lecture in the form of a question. And lastly, like all our events, we are recording this event. It would be available on our YouTube channel within next 24 hours. And without further ado, I invite our distinguished speaker, Lieutenant General Dr. VK Saxena, to speak on this topic. And I can tell you, it will be an educational feast for all of us. We are going to get a very top-notch education on drone swarms and their security implications. So, floor is yours, General VK Saxena.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I will enter into the share mode again. Can my slide be seen, sir?
Yes, we can see your slides.
Right.
We can see your slides.
First of all, greetings of the day to one and all. And Dr. Saab has laid out a very tall order of a good presentation. And Dr. Saab has spoken very humbling words. I don't know how to measure up to them. But at the onset, I must convey my most sincere thanks and gratitude to the CSA and in particular Dr. Adityanji for giving me this opportunity to present my views on something which is the order of the day. I will say order of the day. Why? Because drone swarms have great security implications. And if you do not see the swarm coming, you do not see the reality of the day, today, and tomorrow. That is the sort of importance which this subject has got. Can you just believe that these small little humble birds, unmanned birds, they started with their capability to look over the hill or round the corner as something which we used to call them STAR vehicles, intelligence, surveillance, target acquisition, and reconnaissance vehicles. Now, over a period of time, this whole thing of the unmanned phenomena has exploded into a revolution of sorts. It has exploded into such a revolution that it has redefined the aerial combat from A to Z. What it is all about today is largely defined by this bird which had a humble beginning like this. Today, the dull, dirty, and dangerous, the infamous trio which they are called, are manifesting themselves in the form of fully capable combat platforms, which are either capable of fighting on their own or fighting shoulder to shoulder with the manned platforms, with their all weather, all terrain capability, tremendous endurance running into 24 to 36 hours. They are giving a run for the money to their combat brethren. As if this was not enough, something great happened about 6, 7 years back. And what happened? This what happened. Is something called a new monster called the artificial intelligence, with which all of you are well aware, entered the unmanned scenario in a great fashion. They actually metamorphosed the complete unmanned vehicles in a great way and gave these little monsters a mind of their own. Now these little monsters together, hundreds and thousands of these vehicles today can be programmed to take out a target end to end. Start from a point, go across, finish their job, come back. And not only they're carrying weapons, they're carrying other warheads, they're carrying character virtues. What is that? Resoluteness, motivation, will to survive. Even a swarm of 20, you take out two, another 18 will put forward as last man, last weapon. Some great things are happening with the help of AI in the world of drones, in the world of swarm drones or drone swarms. As Dr. Saab brought out earlier, swarm drone as we see in the locus, as you see like this, these swarms are not the locust swarm. They are smart war fighting array of reconfigurable modules. Now just don't look at them as the small little birds going round and round and making some figures, and as you saw in the retreat, beating the retreat in India, they are actually attacker's delight and a defender's nightmare. A possible task sheet, if I tell you what these drone swarms can do. Look at this, Lucas. Look at this swarm. We talked about the two movies. Imagine not only this man, imagine a weapon system getting overwhelmed by this hundreds and thousands of machines. And this can be a great monster. The task sheet, a possible swarm task sheet, has four important functions. First of all, these can be positioned over an area of interest where they can give you uninterrupted and continuous information. In this fashion, very, these are called Gorgon stare. You know what is Gorgon? You may be knowing. Three Gorgon sisters in Egyptian Greek mythology are those sisters which could turn a person into a stone by their grim, dreadful, and unblinking look. A drone swarm can be positioned in a manner to provide a Gorgon stare on a particular area of interest. If that is not enough, they can be asked to navigate quietly through restricted spaces like windows, like doors, like galleries, like back home, and do peep in function. Peep inside, see what the hell is happening. Give me continuous information. And peep in functions are now getting combined with peep in and kill. Peep in first and kill. Kill the target of choice. The third task which these can be assigned are called predators in wait. What is meant predators in wait? You've seen how General Soleimani was taken up. Predators in wait, these swarms wait at a particular location, duly programmed for the target virtues. They keep on watching the area of the target. When the target virtues meet the programmed target, all of them rush towards it and kill it before before the target can even blink. That is the way called predators in wait. Also, they can be placed in the role called stand-in warriors. What is stand-in warriors? I place a warrior of 1,000 warriors together in a row of 100 each. You keep killing them, you keep downing them. I will overwhelm you. I will overwhelm your radars. I will overwhelm your weapon systems. I will keep on continuing to attack till such time your complete area is saturated and you will be annihilated. Those are the possible task sheet of a simple drone storm. Now, swarms are in action in the world scene over the world, over the front ranking nations of the world, they are in scene, which I will cover a little later. But before that, I will cover a small case study. It all happened on 5th January 2018. This is a matter of case study. I have published my case study. You can read it. I'll give you the link. This is a huge case study. What does it mean? On 5th January 18, a, a swarm drone, a drone swarm of 13 homemade birds attacked a Russian airbase. A mighty power like Russia could not kill 13 drones. As I will explain to you what was the event. The event was that there is there is a group of 13 small homemade drones, as you can see in this fashion. They attacked a Russian airbase in western Syria on 5th January 18. What was the target? The targets were two. One was Khmeimim Air Base. Khmeimim Air Base is a frontline air base of Russia in western Syria, having Su-24, 25, Su-34, Mi-24, Mi-28, Mi-8, Ka-32 helicopters. Look at the base, duly populated. And a Tartus naval facility you see on the left of the slide. Tartus naval facility has 11 warships docked. A facility which has 11 warships docked, you can make out what a base it will be. This was the target. And what was the threat vehicles? Look at this simple looking one fatta and on top of another one like this. This is what the vehicle was. But don't take it lightly. These birds were GPS controlled, had a range of controllable range 50 to 100 kilometers. They had advanced landing gear. You can see advanced avionic systems like pressure transducers, like altitude control servo systems. I cannot go into the details of this to tell you that a remote flying capability with a remote capability of dropping precise dropping munition was this threat vehicles. How the action? Look at this weapon system which Russia had got. Look at the left. On the left, you see a weapon system called Pantsir S1. Its targets have got, its radars have got a range of 32 to 36 kilometers. The missile has got a range of 23 to 31 kilometers. And it also had OSA-AK weapon system, which you can see. These are the weapons which are deployed in Khmeimim, and Tartus has electronic warfare capability. And the drones attacked. The missiles were launched. When the missiles were launched, they could kill only 7 drones out of 13. Balance 6. 3 were killed by electronic warfare attack, 3 at Tartus, 3 landed at the airbase and caused damage and destruction. A mighty power like Russia could not do anything with 13 drones, 3 of them attacked. Like this is the power of only 13. Suppose there were 1300, then what would have happened? What is the inference? What is the reflection? What is the takeaway? Very simple. Drone swarms are a threat of tomorrow. They can be GPS controlled for hundreds of kilometers today. They can carry sophisticated IEDs, warheads, which can be programmed for a precise drop. And also, they are a part of a dark web where huge international powers can play a game of anonymity in putting out attacks. Another case study happened in 14 September 2019 at the Saudi Arabian oil facilities of Abqaiq and Quraiz. Only 14 kamikaze drones called UAVX. What was there at the base? Patriot missile system. What was there? What was there at the base? 35 millimeter Orlikon guns. Nothing could fire at this. Why? They could not be detected. What was the damage? Saudi oil output was halved. 5.7 million barrel of oil. 5.7 million barrel of oil were stalled. The country lost half its output for the day. This is the power I am talking about. Gentlemen, I am talking about a power of tomorrow, a power of these little monsters. And who is powering it? This is powering it, as I just mentioned earlier. They can, with the mind of their own, they can navigate quietly. They can peep in, they can kill. They have a great tolerance for ambiguity. Once they are programmed, even if the orders are not there, no issue. They will kill. They have a degree of survivability. They have collective intelligence. They have swarm based intelligence. The intelligence of a swarm. How a locust swarm can eat thousands of hectares of crop in a matter of minutes. These can finish weapon systems in a matter of minutes. They can overwhelm any of the air defense weapon system in the world today. Now, a word about I will speak that these are the AI powered drones which are already making a scene. I was talking about drone swarms around the world. In March 2019, the British Defense Secretary announced that in the coming years, Royal Air Force will have swarm squadrons. Air Force squadrons having swarm drones which can be used to confuse the enemy, overwhelm their defenses, and carry out damage and destruction. Now, that happened in March 2019. In January 2020, in UK, 216 Squadron Royal Air Force was converted to 216 Swarm Drone Squadron. People are already thinking ahead to get swarms in their arsenal. United States use the word gremlin. Gremlin, as if you see the dictionary, it is a small, it's a term used for something which can mischievously incorporate electronic or a mechanical error into a system. So they called gremlin. Small drones, each one of them was called gremlin because of their capability to cause damage and destruction, mischief, actually, mischief. Now, this was droppable by C-130. That was practiced in 2019 and 20. In December 2021, something great happened. What was a great thing happened? C-130 aircraft not only launched Gremlins, they also rolled in the Gremlins. With their mind of their own, they all lined up with the aircraft and entered one by one like passengers and took their seat inside the aircraft, again to be launched out in this fashion. In February, you see in the center of the slide, there is a helicopter drone. This is the helicopter drone of China. In February 2020, they conducted a drone driven exercise and proved that these drones can be used for a beyond a visual range attack of thousands of kilometers in the ways of an aircraft driven or on their own. US is very fond of using acronyms. Like they use an acronym recently, it was there in open source called code. What is code? Collaborative behavior in denied environments. What does it mean? It simply means otherwise that a body of drone swarms which is capable of operating in an opposed scenario and putting in a definite opposition against an attack. Then there is a acronym called offset, which is meant offensive small swarm enabled tactics is the one which is doing the techniques of various techniques of swarm attack. So swarm is very much a weapon of today and tomorrow. You go to Pakistan, now they are smarting against their Buraq unmanned combat aerial vehicle. But don't be surprised if their proxy and all-weather friend across the border gives them a drone swarm capability on loan or whatever. Russia, who's in news today and in a great fashion, way back in 2019-20, took out a concept called Flock 93 concept. What is Flock 93? Hundreds of drones, which are Kalashnikov Zala KYB drones, each carrying 5.5 points of explosive, could be launched as a drone swarm across hundreds of kilometers to carry out the attacks. So whether it is US, whether it is Russia, whether it is China, Pakistan, France, I cannot be covering all in the time constraint. The drone swarms are making an appearance around the world in front ranking nations. What about India? Well, India is up and about. Sometime in 2017 and 18, which is 3-4 years from now, the state-run Hindustan Aeronautics Limited shook hands with a company called New Space Research Technology. Now, don't take this company as a small company. It is the one which made persistence drone for Earth observation and communication, and also makes satellite parts and mini satellites for NASA. It is that reputed a company. They already perfected to a large extent three products. Three products. First product was air launched small drone. It is called Alpha. What is Alpha? Air launch flexible asset. Air launch flexible asset, and S means swarm. So Alpha S stands for air launch flexible asset swarm. This is a small drone, 1 to 2 meters, each capable of carrying 1.5 ton of explosive, can be launched from Su-30 MKI or an upgraded Jaguar. Each of them has got a stealthy feature built inside for non-radar detection. They can be launched connected to the mother aircraft on electro-optical and infrared communication. They can be launched to destroy their targets in kamikaze mode, suicidal mode. We have not yet got the capability to turn them back and take it, as I was just talking about, Gremlin. The second capability is called robotic wingman. You see the down slide? That is a robotic wingman. What is it? Robotic wingman is a robotics aircraft which moves around 100 kilometers ahead of the manned mission in a CATS capability. What is CATS? Combined Air Teaming System, or in India it is called MUMT, manned and unmanned teaming, and it gives from the front situational awareness, battlefield intelligence, information about ambushes, air defense layouts of the enemy, and where the targets lie. And own combat aircraft can close in or can avoid the harm based on the robotic wingman. And the third product which they are working on is an ultra high drone, already produced actually, 65,000 feet altitude and endurance not less than 3 weeks capability. Now, this is the drone swarm offensive portion. For every shield, for every sword, there is a shield. For every cause, there is an effect. So, if these drones can come hundreds and thousands and can overwhelm a system, the air defenders are already looking at how to brace up with the drone swarm challenge, how to brace up with them. It is a great challenge to brace up. Now, two things I will cover here, which I will cover in a generic manner because it's a huge subject by itself, and I've written extensively on this aspect. One is called the detection challenge. Now, for a weapon like a hypersonic weapons, which is moving at more than 5 Mach, the radars, as you see, conventional radars, which you see here, simply cannot have the time to look at the weapon which is approaching, the threat which is approaching, because it will approach in micro and millisecond. A radar has got a cycle of few seconds for it to be operationally detect a weapon system and identify it as to what it is. But a drone swarm does not pose that challenge. A drone swarm, in any case, whether it is ones or twos or whether it is hundreds, is a comparatively slower moving body. It can be detected with a radar. Then, then what is the problem? Why the Saudi archive facility could not detect it? Why the Khamem airbase radars of the Panjshir S1 could not detect it? It is because of two reasons. What is the reason? Firstly, each of these swarm drones is a very small bird. Its radar cross section, which is the measure of the detectability of the system, is very, very small. And it's very difficult for the radar to catch up. Secondly, these drones can almost hug the ground and move. They can move very, very, very low. That is less than 30 meters up to 30 feet. What happens? In this lower altitude, most of the radars at that altitude, grass and the ground clutter saturates the radar. It is called the ground clutter. In that ground clutter, this drone swarm gets hidden and it is most difficult to detect. Therefore, what is the way to detect these drones? The detection challenge. There are two types of radars called the ASA radar and the PASA radars, active and passive electronically scanned array radars, which are specifically having a very high resolution and a very high low level capability can detect this radar. Such radars lie in Q and K band, which is 12 to 18 gigahertz and 18 to 27 gigahertz frequency band. I will not go into the technical details of it. The other important sensor which can detect this radar with a swarm is the electro-optical sensors working in the frequency range of 30 to 3 into 10 raised to power 11 hertz, low frequency. In that frequency, which is electro-optical frequency, these can be easily visible because in electro-optical range, such drones cannot hide behind the ground clutter. And the third capability, a third way to detect it is acoustic sensor. A drone swarm, like a locust, if a locust comes, it makes a very peculiar huzzing, huzz sound. Same sound is made to a larger extent by a drone swarm. So acoustic sensors, given all their limitation, is also a vehicle. Other way is to detect them through aerial sensors which go over the swarm. They have to be placed in an aerial, like an AVAX, airborne early warning and control system, or satellite based surveillance. These can be detected. So the detection challenge is not unsurmountable like the case of hypersonic weapons. But the kill challenge, don't be like Russia launching a fancy S1 of millions of hundreds and thousands of dollars against a few $100 drones. The way to kill drones is to saturate the area by low cost weapons. The best way to kill drone is what you see on the left top of the slide is to use Gatling guns. Gatling guns which can saturate because the drone swarms are a low moving body, low altitude moving herd, which can be killed to a large extent by the Gatling gun, by high firing air defense guns, as also the directed energy weapons. You see the laser kill range, you see on the right. This is an American weapon called Thor, tactical high power operational responder. It multiple laser rays. It has got a satellite dish of 20 feet, keeps on throwing killer waves, and not only laser, high power microwave. It just fries up the drone to a large extent. And another one, the new weapon which has come out is called Mjolnir. The word Thor, Thor is a god of thunder, Norse god of thunder, and he's got a sword which is called the Mjolnir. So the weapon system called Mjolnir is on the right side of your slide, is likely to be operational in 2023. That is where the kill challenge. The kill challenge will demand area defense, will demand to saturate the area, create large kill fields, create mass jamming, mass frying up, mass hacking, mass fizzing. These are the type of soft kill weapons which can kill the drone and which can save the day for you, and not the missiles for which thousands and millions of dollars are spent. Are Russians fired number of uh, Pantsir missiles? Only 7 out of 13 they could kill. That is the way the drones are emerging. So this is what the challenge is all about. This is the kill challenge all about. This is the future challenge all about. And the defenders need to be waking up to this challenge sooner than later. That is what I wanted to tell you on drone swarm in a very short manner. Though it's a huge subject, it covers a huge domain, but in a short period of 30-35 minutes, I thought I could cover that. So I will stop sharing this presentation now and open the chat for the
Thank you very much
discussion.
indeed, Lieutenant General Saxena, for a very educational presentation. I think it's timely because, the threat of drone warfare has become very, very topical, considering the fact that at least in India, we are facing two and a half front war. And the challenge is both from north and from west, but also the half front is internal. And my question to you would be, uh, what are the implications of drones or drone swarms for internal threats, for crowd control? When you have a large number of anti-national elements gathered together to disrupt the nation's functioning, do we have any contingency or role for drones or drone swarms for, you know, putting tear gas shells or, other crowd control measures? John Saxena.
Sure. Shall I just see the chat box if there are any more? Then I can write them and take them one on one. I have taken your question, Dr. Saab. I'll just see.
Yeah, you can directly see the questions in the
Drone
chat.
strategy again. Yeah, Pakistan using this anti. I'll just make a note. Anti-drone strategy against Pak. Okay. What else? Civilian critical functions like high security prison, bridges, counter, highly vulnerable, the current monitoring. Yeah, that's a very good question. Gorgon Stair. Okay, I will take the three questions are there. So I'll start with the permission, Doctor. I'll take your question first. Now, I told you, or I tried to submit to you, a possible drone task sheet. Now, a possible drone task sheet is not only limited to four functions which I just talked about in some detail, it is unlimited and only confined by your imagination. Now, I give you an example. There are any number of stun weapons, which do not kill, but they stun a crowd. Like for example, stun gun. I will. There's a little classified. Cannot cover the full detail. There are weapons in our country already in the making and perfected, which in a crowd control scenario they are deployed at critical places and they stun a group of people. They'll feel nonplussed or they'll feel something very uncomfortable, either a tremendous amount of heat or very cold or their body functions will become little, they'll get stunned, or they'll get into some sort of a tension, trauma, etc., by use of electromagnetic waves of a particular frequency. Now, if those are the ground control weapons developed, imagine a small stun scenario or a stun shot weapon. I'm just imagining it, based on a drone zone and placed at a critical location over a crowd, hundreds and thousands of people. You cannot control them. A drone comes over them, drone swarm comes over them and stuns them en masse, or incapacitates them locally for a small, they'll start running, too much heat, or they'll start shivering, or they will have their mind misbehaving, or some, they'll get into some trauma, they'll get into some tension, and they can be a very huge cord control. They can also, such zone, ROM zone, can lay out security curtain. Like suppose a crowd is approaching, huge crowd is approaching. Here is a drone zone which puts out a storm or a stun curtain along a particular way, line, along a particular axis, along a particular approach. Anybody entering, that is something like you entering a store, and a stun vapor comes, you immediately will come out. You'll get a small micro current. If not a micro current, you will get a heat, feeling of heat. You'll feel your mind will become little bit disoriented. So it can be used in a huge fashion in an internal threat scenario. But if you look at it other way around, it is a huge monster. Suppose 26th January is going on, okay? Parade is going on, 26th January, or some big parade is going on. The guns are deployed, the radars are deployed, everything is deployed. You to take out one drone, two drones, something comes, you just bring it down. All right, 100 drones suddenly appear over the president house, 200 of them appear from the India gate, and 300-400 appear from the side, both sides of Rajpath. Imagine that scenario. That scenario will not only overwhelm your ground-based anti weapon systems, who to detect, who to kill, what to do, but they will also overwhelm your air curtain and capability. That is why the only way is the physical prohibition of the area 300 kilometer by 300 kilometer, nothing to enter. But these drones don't enter through normal scenario. They will fly lap of the earth. They'll fly at 10 meters. You will not be able to control them, and therefore the only way will be mass killing using weapons like laser, microwave, high power micro. They're all very scary scenarios, very scary scenarios in which these weapons can do tremendous amount of damage. Imagine as late as 2018, 2019, a mighty power like Russia with all the air defense weapons on an important air base like Khmeimim and Tartus cannot handle 13 drones. Three of them still damage their airfield. Imagine a Saudi Arabian facility with Patriot missile system with 35 millimeter Orlikon. 14 Komkozi drone came. 5,700 million barrels of oil stored. Imagine the type of danger I am talking about. I am just painting a scenario. 26 January, oh, you are laying out a air cordon, all right, nothing to enter, nowhere, no air flights will come from medium and high altitude. What about at 3 meter, 5 meter from the ground, and from a local civilian strategy, a swarm is let go, which is controllable and a nuisance creation. Each one drops one leaflet. I'm not talking of weapon, one leaflet. You had it. That is the type of both sides. So earlier, but I can't be telling you some classified detail. In our country also, we are talking about looking countering this scenario in a very big way. Anti-drone system, DRDO has made an anti-drone system based on electro-optical surveillance, radio surveillance, and radio frequency kill. Zen Technologies Limited, a front-lighting simulator company, has built a anti-drone system based on electro-optical and SR radar surveying, and using the air defense guns L-70 and Zu-23 to kill the drones as also the RF killing. So it's a live threat. On the second question regarding the using these drones in a big way, where human intelligence like prisons and crowd control is a very feasible scenario. Why I'm saying they are low cost systems, but to keep them up in the air, you have to bear the cost. But if you do that, the drones based surveillance is the way the drones actually started. As I told you in the beginning, the intelligence, surveillance, target acquisition, and reconnaissance. So, keeping watch. Why I use the word Gorgon scale? You just don't take 100 drones. Okay, there are 20, 30, 40 doors from where these people can, somebody can go out where you want to keep. Just keep five swarm drones positioned at a critical point, changeable every 8 hours, because they endurance 8 hour, 10 hour. These eight will go, it will all come. You can keep an unblinking stare for 24/7 at a cost. At a cost. There will be cost of aircraft, the cost of fuel, the cost of deciphering intelligence, but it is very much possible. That Gorgon stare is very much possible. So I am only introducing you to something which is the thing of the future, which is the thing which will what should I say? Uh, Too many things are there in drone. You are only talking about the tip of the iceberg, the whole iceberg. You are seeing, you are the captain of the Titanic. You're only seeing the top of the iceberg in the Atlantic. The drone threat is all below. The drone threat is multimodal, multidimensional, and a huge threat in me. So that is what is my response to both the questions, sir. I
Looks
don't
like
think there is any other question in the chat box. Don't
in
see
the
any.
chat.
I can just see open chat box again to see if there are any more questions which have come. And like Ani's question I've answered.
Uh,
One more question. Pakistan. Okay, Pakistan, anti-drone strategy against Pakistan. Pakistan, by the way, you can read my article on Pakistan drone strategy. Pakistan, don't take it lightly. Huh? Pakistan has got a complete range of homemade drones to star machines to unarmed combat aerial vehicles and going up to Babar. Therefore, we need to be very careful. And they're also now building they've got the latest contract signed of 48 Wing Loom Chinese UCAVs coming into Pakistan. Three of them already come for keeping a watch on the CPEC corridor. Others will be coming. So we are gearing up to meeting the drone threat in three different manner. Firstly, the kinetic kill. Kinetic kill means electro-optical surveillance, acoustic surveillance, and kill by kinetic means of using weapons like Gatling guns or air defense weapons. Second, radio kill. Radio kill means keeping the disabling the electronics and electromagnetics of the drones. And thirdly is, of course, the electronic warfare kill of hacking, jamming, hacking and fizzing, taking control of the. All of them are progressing. I cannot cover the classified details, but can tell you that we are up and about on kinetic kill, on RF kill, on electronic warfare kill. Some weapons are already out in the domain, as you can check out the DRDO ADS, you can check out the Zen ADS, you can check out a laser weapon from DRDO, etc. So those are all the questions.
yeah, the last question is from Pradeep saying, is there drone manufacturing in India? And I think you have already answered that question. So that's
One
a good
second.
question. Uh,
Let
I
me see
think
if it's
this is just a comment. Is drone manufacturing in India?
drone manufacturing. Yeah. From Pradeep to drone manufacturing in India. To Pradeep, I can just tell you one thing, that we have been, I will use a very blunt word. We have been passive and inactive for a very long time. I have seen in my service years, there have been great Indian minds. All of us mostly are Indian. Our intellect, I don't have to tell you our intellect. I have seen and attended webinars and seminars in which the brilliant minds, brilliant startups have said, sir, what is your drone? What is your drone requirement? Please tell me. I can manufacture drone, I can manufacture software, I can manufacture kill system, I can manufacture everything. But we were very passive. We did not, I'm sorry, we did not give out our drone requirements upfront. But today that is not the scenario. With the drones coming up in a very big fashion, with the MSME already coming up in a very, very big way and being supported by the government, the industry is looking up to providing drones. Like there is a professor I know, is in IT, has already made a drone with a VTOL capability and a precise drop capability. To Pradeep, I can only tell that drone manufacturing in India will see, you take it from me, will see a huge rise in times to come, notwithstanding the fact that we have been passive and inactive for a long time. I will also suggest this audience, please read my two documents, why the drones turned the tide for Azerbaijan in the battlefields of Nagorno-Karabakh. That is one. And second is, what is it in the Turkish B-52 Bayraktar drone and Harpy drone, which could kill weapon systems like S-400, which can cause kills to 60 artillery systems and many, many air defense guns. Read that. I can share it with Dr. Saab, my links to that articles.
So there is one more question. It is from Vijay K, and I'll read the question. Based on press reports, Turkish drones changed the balance of power in Libyan civil war that was stalemated for many years. Any thoughts?
Sir, I couldn't hear you clearly. Say the question again, please. Or you can do in a chat box if you. Okay,
Uh,
just say it, sir. I couldn't hear you.
it is in the chat box from Vijay K,
One second. I'll just look at it. Chat box.
10:50 a.m.
One second. From Ripudaman, do you have reports of any terrorist groups owning these types of offensive drones? Mr. Ripudaman, I must tell you that the deadliest of the drones are DIY. Do it yourself. Today, the drones are available which can be controlled by the GPS for a very small cost and can be a nuisance. You know, the drone which attacked the Jammu Air Base on 26 June 2020 or 26 June 2021 was a DIY drone, but it had the capability to drop 4.5 pounds of explosive. Drones are being used by terrorists for not only ID dropping, they are being used for cash dropping, they are used for arms dropping, they are being used for what is that called, ammunition dropping, they're used for causing nuisance. They entered the front line security installations of the country, and day is not for when these terrorist groups will also be funded by the dark web. What is dark web I was talking about? Here are two huge big powers of the world which want to remain anonymous but still cause damage to each other. They make use of these proxy terrorist bodies and give them capability. Use this. You think a drone which attacked the Khmeimim was made by only a terrorist? Though the Russians will not say it openly, but there are certain other things beyond. But the answer to their question is in capital YES to start with. Of course, the sophistication, the AI algorithms, the quantum of the technology which is imposed today, it is at primitive stage. It may grow. And one very interesting thing I'll tell you, I read about it very recently. Now, what is AI doing now? AI has gone beyond the capability of just GPS driven, precise drop, gone beyond that. What is gone beyond? Drone sounds are now being motivated. What is motivation? Like you motivate a soldier, fight to the end, do not stop. They are being motivated. They are being made such character qualities as resolute fighters. They are being determined fighters. These are the character, human character qualities: motivation, dedication, determination, josh, enthusiasm. These are the character values now being decoded into AI algorithms, and scientists are now working to incorporate. And there is a huge lobby against this whole thing called the ethical lobby. What is this ethical lobby? They are saying as if the men were not enough to kill men, or humans were not to. You are giving machine over man. Machine is deciding whom to choose and kill, and they will re-kill without any emotion, without any humane concern. So another body is growing up, ethical body is growing up, and here another body growing up, which is couldn't care less and build capability. So it's a it's a huge word. It can intoxicate you actually if you really get into what is this happening in this world of drones.
Thank you, General Saxena. There's one last question from Vijay K. I will read it slowly. Based on press reports, Turkish drones changed the balance of power in the Libyan civil war that was stalemated for years. What are your thoughts about that?
Yes, I will tell you, that is not an example to be quoted for drone based balance of power. Because in that scenario, first of all, the equation of attacker and defender is not a balanced equation, it is a skewed equation. The oppressor, the Libyan oppressor, duly assisted by one superpower, was going ahead with oppressing the opponent in such a manner that it cannot be a balanced equation. And therefore, in that scenario, the stalemate of power cannot be overturned or changed by drones alone, drone power alone. That is not the example. If you want to see the example of the drone power turning the tide, see the battle of Azerbaijan and Armenia. If you want to see what the drone power can do, see today the Afghanistan war towards the end, not in the beginning, as to what the drones were being used to by the ISIS in the latest acquired capability. Give the enemy its also its due now. If one is totally skewed, then you cannot say that stalemate could be turned through drone or not. That is what my thoughts. That is not the right example to draw the lesson from. The lesson is to be drawn from some other war.
Thank you very much indeed, General Saxena, for enlightening us on this particular recent strategic threat and what are the both domestic as well as external security implications. We are very grateful to you for giving us wisdom, information, and knowledge on this particular subject. I also thank all our audience members on a Saturday morning or Saturday evening in India who joined for this session. A couple of announcements. Uh, CSA will be doing a special roundtable discussion on March 12th on Ukraine crisis. So I will invite everyone to join in that particular special sessions. We have lined up three great panelists for that particular discussion. And we will be setting out our announcement fairly soon after we finish this particular program. Lastly, my thanks to the CSA team that comprises Mr. Ripudaman Pachori, Mr. Ankush Bhandari, and Mr. Rajiv Verma, who are my pillar of support for running the programs of CSA. Time and again, we bring topics that are supposedly very esoteric. General public does not know, but our job is to educate, increase the level of awareness, and that is what we do. So my thanks again to General Vijay Saxena for, enlightening all of us on this very specialized and very contemporary topic and a security threat. And with
Yes, sir.
those
Thank you
words,
very much.
I will be closing this meeting.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.